Sports House Television here with Dean Widders, former NRL star. Dean, thank you for coming to Ipswich. What does this Murri Carnival mean to you?
Oh, mate, it's great grassroots footy, and it's stuff that I love watching. I think, you'll see plenty of excitement in the way that these guys play footy, but the big thing that you'll notice is the passion of the players and the passion of the fans, which, is crazy at some stage, but they're all out there and they're competing, and it's competing for where they're from and representing their mob and the communities that these people come from. So you'll see real passionate football on the weekend, and it'll be very entertaining as well.
Obviously, the Arthur Beetson Foundation are involved. What did Arthur Beetson mean to you as a player and also as a man?
Well, yeah, as a rugby league player, he was the inspiration for all of us. He certainly, led the way in some of the things that he did as a player, but also later on in life when he became a coach and administrator and a talent identifier. He spotted me, Artie, so he gave me my opportunity. And, everyone tried to, the big challenge was try and get your career half as good as Artie's, because of all the great things that he did for rugby league. And he gave us all that chance to play on, I suppose, a level playing field. But for me personally, with the man, I lived with Artie when I first moved to Sydney. He was spotted me and talked my parents into sending me out of Armidale at a young age. And, he was just a great guy, and he taught me so much, and, plenty of fun times. But I went through a tough time when I first started out at the Roosters, and if it wasn't for Artie, I would never have come through it and become, done what I did with my career. And, always grateful for that and always loved him for it. And, he was just a real father figure to me as a young guy.
All right, Dean, you touched on the troubles you had going from Armidale to Sydney. What are the pitfalls for young players that now go from their country towns down to the city?
Oh, I think they lose that, sense of community and belonging and family and these sort of things. You get into Sydney and it's fast-paced and people sort of look out for themselves and they get on with what they need to do, and it's easy to get distracted, and it's, problems can become worse quite quickly in big cities. And a lot of young guys go down from the bush and they don't find where they fit in, and they struggle, and they don't feel that connectedness, I suppose, with the people that they're surrounded by. And these days though, the NRL does a lot of good stuff about making kids more comfortable, especially young Indigenous people, and that's a space now that I'm working in. And I think the support structures in place now are just about connecting with young blokes and making them feel more comfortable, and it brings the best out in their footy.
Now, Dean, I was going to ask you what your role is with the NRL. Could you just expand on what you do with the NRL now?
Yeah, so I'm working in Indigenous, I'm working in education and welfare, but with a real specific sort of outlook on Indigenous programs and Indigenous players. We're looking to really strengthen our group and our voice in the game, do a lot more for our communities and for our people. So my big role, I suppose, the main thing that I'm focusing on is just bringing unity to the Indigenous players in the game and getting them behind some great leaders that we've got there, the likes of Jonathan Thurston and Greg Inglis, who are passionate guys and doing so well at their clubs on and off the field, and just trying to get these guys to get swept up in the momentum of what these blokes are doing at the top of the game, and create, making it easy for the next superstars like Benny Barber and the like to come through the door and match what these guys are doing.
Okay, well, two more questions. Tip for this weekend's grand final?
Man, I think I watched Canterbury. I'm a South fan, and they demoralised me last week, Canterbury. So I think they've got enough ball movement in them to unlock Melbourne's defence, because there's not many sides around that can do it. But just the way they move that ball, they've got strikeout wide in their centres, they've got big guys in the middle that can do a bit of damage. I'm liking them to, I think they can do it, but Melbourne, with the class players they got, they can never be written off. But my tip is that the Bulldogs will get there.
Okay, and final question for this evening. What will be your highlight this weekend? What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, these carnivals, they become a real survival of the toughest, the fittest, who's going to dig deep when it matters most. And I always like towards the end of the game, end of the carnival, when you're sore, you're injured. I've played in them. You physically you're gone, but mentally you're playing with your brothers, your mates, your cousins. You dig deep, and that's what I always like to see, is who's going to be the ones that are just going to keep digging deeper than all the rest at the end of the carnival. Because at that stage, the talent goes out the window. The big names, whether they play in the NRL or whether they play local footy for the local Ipswich club, you'll see them all on a level playing field, and it just comes down to then who wants it the most and who's going to dig deep.
All right, on behalf of the city, thank you and welcome to our great city, Dean.
Yeah, no, it's great to see Ipswich hosting the carnival. Yeah, it's a popular name in rugby league, Ipswich, and some big names have come out of here, and it looks like it's a good spot to hold the carnival, so it'll be a good weekend.
Thanks, mate.